ZIGURAT Tech Minds. I'm Josefina Sauti, Program Marketing Manager here at ZIGURAT, and I'm very happy to present in this event today. So just a quick overview for those of you who may not know us. So ZIGURAT is an online institution. We provide master's and postgraduate courses in architecture, engineering, and tech management. And our mission is to inspire and educate the leaders of tomorrow. So we have more than 20,000 people from 120 different countries. As we provide online programs, we have students and professors from all around the world. So you can see there a picture of one of our student weeks. So this is a very interesting and global community that we're very proud of. So today's event is related to one of our programs, precisely the Global MBA in Digital Transformation. So this is a one-year program that is 100% online and then starts November next year. And it's a very comprehensive program that really teaches our students to apply a holistic digital transformation in their businesses. So from marketing to sales to products to HR. So it's a really complete program and a very practical one. In fact, our students have to, they work on a master's final thesis throughout this program, which is precisely to work on a digital transformation in a project they choose or in their own businesses. And as our oral programs, we have a double degree with the University of Barcelona. So you can scan the QR code to see all the details and the academic structure of the program. And Juan Carlos Gutierrez is partner and CTO at Grupo Cetesca, and he's also a ZIGURAT professor. He actually teaches machine learning and predictive analytics in the MBA, and he knows a lot about technology. And today he'll teach us about Microsoft Copilot. So basically, how can this tool help you to organize your work, to get insights, and to basically automate tasks and free time for you to do more strategic work? So just to let you know, feel free to send your questions in the chats. We'll let Juan Carlos do the presentation, and then we can address the questions in the end, okay? So please drop the questions, and in the end, I'll take them over, and Juan Carlos will answer them. Okay, so now I'll stop sharing my screen, and Juan Carlos, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josefina, for your introduction. Well, I'm very happy to stay with you here today and sharing this webinar with you. Today we're talking about Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot right now, we can talk that this is the #1 on AI copilots right now in this industry. But this is a very ancient technology. This is a very ancient science. We'll see, for example, Google with Google Gemini. We'll see Dropbox. We'll see Adobe with Adobe AI Assistant. All of the manufacturers, all the big players. Of course, we have ChatGPT in the professional editions. But we are surrounded about AI and in the AI in productivity. So let me share my screen. I prepared a presentation. I think that you can share now my screen. Okay, you see my screen. And let me open up, in that case, the presentation here. Okay, perfect. And let me put it on present. Okay, this is in a very little agenda about presentation, video introduction, what is Microsoft Copilot and how this works, architecture, how to add Copilot, and how to use Copilot in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., and how to use Copilot chat to communicate with your virtual assistant and the roadmap of the product. As Josefina states, at the end of the webinar, please feel free to ask anything about this webinar, about this kind of technology, and about how AI can help us in our daily basis productivity tasks. So, well, this is a point that I can go over because Josefina makes an intro for me. But this is the first screenshot that I want to show you. Right now, we are assisting to the era of copilots. In this screen, you see a lot of copilots from Microsoft, only for Microsoft at our disposal. In this presentation, we're talking about Copilot for Microsoft 365 in order to make the integration from AI with directly the Office suite of applications. But we have Microsoft Copilot for free that you can work integrated within Edge and Bing. We have Microsoft Power Platform. We have Microsoft Dynamics 365. This is, for example, for the CRM, for the ERP of Microsoft Business Central, Microsoft Azure, etc. And you have Microsoft, in that case, the Copilot from GitHub Copilot. This one, the Copilot is about help us with coding task every day in order that these kind of AI tools can help us to produce more efficient code. As you can see here, we are surrounded by copilots. But again, we have copilots too from Gemini, from Google, that is called Gemini. We have copilots from Dropbox. We have copilots from SAP. We have copilots from more or less all of these kind of manufacturers. And we don't forget ChatGPT, that is the application from OpenAI that will be the origin of the eruption of this kind of technology right now surrounding our industry, at home, at work, etc. So, what is the best way to create and to deploy Microsoft Copilot within an organization? Microsoft Copilot is not free. It's a subscription from Microsoft, so you need that your administrator acquires a subscription from this product and then adds to you, assigns to you as a user within your company. Nowadays, or right now, Microsoft don't offer a trial of Microsoft Copilot in order you can test, you can try and buy. You need to purchase a subscription from a year, and then you can try, you can test all the functions within Microsoft Copilot. Last week, Microsoft announced wave 2 of Microsoft Copilot. That is a lot of more features, more functionalities that they are building constantly into this AI tooling. When we're talking about Microsoft Copilot, we're not talking about only one tool. We're talking about a suite of tools of AI. Microsoft Copilot use OpenAI because, as you know, Microsoft is one of the main investors behind OpenAI in that case, in order to invest a lot of billions, and then they have first exclusivity from OpenAI models, and you can deploy, for example, this kind of architecture within your company thanks to Microsoft architecture through Azure or another kind of technology. In that case, Microsoft Copilot for Office 365 use GPT-4o. Remember that OpenAI launched several models, and I think that the last one powerful, this O from omni-modal, what means is right now this kind of model that not only generate text, generate image, generate videos, audios, etc. from output and from input. This is very important because right now these kind of models can understand a picture from scratch and can give us information from, for example, a graphic within this picture. We'll see later when I switch over for one moment to ChatGPT. But in that case, from the webinar today, we can see in action how to make this integration with our more common or usual applications in our daily basis, like, for example, Microsoft Word, Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, etc., and Microsoft OneDrive in order to our storage about this kind of information. This isn't a very technical slide. Only a point here is that Microsoft has made through these kind of tools is to make a mapping between the principal mechanism behind Microsoft Office 365 architecture, that's called Microsoft Graph, and these LLMs. We have all how these walls, the wall of LLM and the wall of Microsoft Office 365 is joining, and they join his ways in order to give us all of this kind of information. We'll see more in depth when we're talking about the live part of the live site of this webinar. So when we're talking about the integration from Microsoft Copilot with Office 365, in that case, we can see that we can use all of this stuff in order, for example, in the case, for example, from Microsoft Word, to create a completely new Word from scratch. Only we have to run prompt engineering. I imagine that you are familiar with this concept. Prompt engineering that you are using, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini or something like that. This is the same principle. You are using prompt engineering in order to interact with the model and then give an answer from the model. In that case, we can add details, we can revise documents, we can refine documents, we can check spelling from the documents, format text, etc. It's awesome. And these kind of solutions can give us the idea don't to waste our time in boilerplate tasks. So we have the time from my business, the time to analyze my process, my procedures, etc. So these kind of tools can help me perfectly in that case. We're using, or we are seeing Microsoft Word, how can help us in our work today. Right now, I make a quick overview and then I move to a live session. In the case of Excel, it's option 2 because Microsoft Copilot for Excel can help me to analyze a completed workbook, create a table for me, work with formulas, add new formulas, ask for information, insert, for example, pivot table tables, dynamic tools, etc. I can have very lot of features that are insights, analysis, collaboration, task automation. With this second way, we have Python native integration, what means that I can integrate Python code within my Excel sheet. This is completely awesome. So we can increase my performance, my productivity with this tooling within Excel. We'll see in a short. The same thing with PowerPoint. As you can see, we always have this panel, this right panel, this side panel in that case, that can help me to work from the scratch with a presentation, adding images, easy to me to add image embed insertion, working with data and visualization, automatically creates for me a speaker note generation, because not only creates for me from scratch a whole presentation, adds to notes, speaker note generation. Well, again, sorry for the expression, but it's awesome. And as I told you before, we are seeing an incipient rollout of features each month. Microsoft announced they have an URL, a website regarding about updates, where constantly Microsoft roll out new features. We'll see too about these features. In the case of Outlook, the same. Microsoft Copilot can write down mails for me from my own, can create drafts, can make an inbox cleanup, classify my mails, warn me about incoming meetings, make a lot of tasks regarding management, and so on. And for example, make recaps or make summary. Imagine, for example, that you have very situations where you have a chain of mail with 20 mails, with 3 mails, etc. It depends on the chain. This kind of tool can help us in order to identify the main topics, the main ideas, the insights on this chain of mails, and then give me a result. So again, it's productivity. It's not to waste my time in this kind of boilerplate, and prepare my time in order to be focused in what is important for me. So again, in the case of Microsoft Outlook, this integration is awesome. If we're working with Teams, because we're working with meetings, we're working with collaboration with colleagues, with external colleagues, etc. Microsoft Copilot help us a lot too, because recaps, summarize, content search, write for me, reply for me, etc. And I can use, in that case, Microsoft Copilot in order to make virtual presentations with my avatar. So with my avatar, I can stay simultaneously in different meetings at the same time. It's very impressive. And then automatically, Microsoft Copilot recaps and the transcription of the meeting, and then I receive an email with the captioning and with the transcription and the summary of this meeting. The integration again is completely native, because you have the tool within in that case Teams or Microsoft Word or whatever, and then for your daily work is like you work with normality, but again with the help of AI. This is very powerful too. This is Microsoft Copilot Chat. This is like more or less a ChatGPT. This is now, as you see, in Spanish, then in live session we'll see in English. But basically, when we work with this kind of information, we can see the information from website. This is free. As you know, if you have Edge installed, you have this Copilot free, but not private, public information. And then if you have the subscription of Microsoft Copilot for Office 365, you have the same site, but for your work. When it's called trabajo, this is in Spanish, it means work. So in that case, you have private information. So terms such as compliance, privacy, and security is mandatory for Microsoft. And then I have access to query all my information, to query about my colleagues, my fields, my files, meetings, whatever, inside my organization, and under the perspective of security, privacy, and compliance within my organization. It's like to have a ChatGPT, but within my information on privacy and regulatory disposal. We'll see in a shorter too. And finally, we have two, of course, Web Companion Edition. Again, we can use Microsoft Copilot for free if we're using Edge. This is more similar a ChatGPT free edition, but if we have the subscription, we can use the same functionality that you see before, but within a browser in order to access your information regarding your colleagues, information regarding your files, etc. You have a lot of functionality that you can work, not for free in that case, but you can balance between work and web. You have this ribbon, we'll see again in a shorter, in order to how to activate this feature. Of course, we have Microsoft Copilot 2 in these two flavors, from iOS and from Android. We have the same features, and we can decide if we can work on a web manner, public way, or private way, working with my data that resides, that lives within my OneDrive, within my SharePoint. This is OneDrive, corporate OneDrive, etc. So again, I can choose if I can work with public information, with no security guaranteed, with no privacy, or I can switch on to my private information, query my internal documents, query my company documents, etc. We can balance between this kind of information from one world to other world. And this is the roadmap that I told you before, where Microsoft is changing constantly and adapting. And in that case, for example, we have this update, 176 updates right now that Microsoft is working with Microsoft Copilot. In that case, we can work with this kind of roadmap. There are several in development, several rolling out, and several launches. So we have, in that case, several ideas from the viral from Microsoft, this kind of product from his day-to-day, in order to give us this information to the customers. Okay, for the point, the presentation is over, and let me go to the real world. You can see right now, this is my home from Office 365. This is my user, and this is I have the subscription of Microsoft Copilot internally within Setesca. Okay, so in that case, we have here Copilot button, we'll see before, but for example, we can go to PowerPoint. I have here the presentation of the webinar, of course, and then I have here a Copilot button. For example, one point, if we start with Microsoft Copilot, I select, for example, this text, and I can see here the Copilot button. I can replace the presentation with another kind of data. I can create a presentation from a file, or I can summarize the presentation. If I make click here, automatically in the right side of the panel, Copilot start to work. And you can see right now, this is basically the summary of this information of this, in the case of this presentation, with the main ideas, productivity, and the reference, where I can see all of this information. We have here the reference where I can locate this information. I can copy this information. I can see here the reference. In that case, I'll see a URL, because if I make click here, I can go here to the Microsoft. In that case, if I open up, I see the Microsoft 365 roadmap. In that case, Microsoft Copilot. So I can select here, and I have Microsoft Copilot. And here I can see behind or below all the information regarding about Microsoft Copilot in the several products of the Office suite. So as you can see, I can understand, I can have a lot of information regarding one document, but I have here new brand presentation. For example, let me check. I open up a new presentation, and here I have these buttons create a presentation about, create a presentation from file, or ask Copilot, create a presentation about. And here I start providing, for example, the advantage of electric vehicles. Let me quick. This is from engineering, and automatically Microsoft Copilot starts to getting ideas, and then as you can see, he starts to work for me as a term to generate slides. I can see the idea. Okay, I can move the position. I can move the position, and then I also generate slides, and automatically Microsoft Copilot starts to generate slides to my Microsoft PowerPoint presentation. We are talking about models. We are talking about AI. Our suggestion always is you make a double check. You can see the information generated automatically by AI, but our main advice in that case is that you can revise and you can make a double check regarding about this presentation. So we'll see that the LLM is working because Copilot is working for me, generating all the content, pulling the pictures, and adding pictures too, regarding or remember that we're talking with multimodal models. Multimodal models, as you see here, is, well, I see, okay, keep it, and I have the presentation here. This is a start point because I have here the presentation. This is a first point of initially to understand my presentation, but I have the idea here that, well, only from the scratch, only given information regarding about the presentation, I can have here information regarding about how to build, how to construct this kind of a slide. Of course, I have this presentation and I can go here to Copilot button. And then here I can make more this information. For example, summarize this presentation, how to understand. Summarize this presentation and then play. And again, start to give me a summary of this presentation. So I can give this information. I can change, I can add, for example, here an image, had relate image, for example, and then work on a response for me, and then analyze the structure, the context of this kind of document, and can propose me, in that case, several kinds of images. In that case, it seems that is nothing to do, so I can regenerate, in that case, for example, the image, but imagine, for example, that the image work for me. And then automatically, he has questions for me regarding this presentation. What technology innovations are associated with electric vehicles? As you see, I understand. It's like, for example, ChatGPT. I start to work with ChatGPT, and there, it depends on the response, depends on the answer of the model, automatically propose me several questions regarding when you document, and here all this information. This is very important because I have one presentation for scratch, but another important aspect here in a black presentation is that I can create a presentation from previous information, create a presentation from file, and then I can select, in that case, from, and in the case of the information that I can specify here a file in order to work with a file that resides in my OneDrive. In that case, let me select the document to, well, let me check, for example, from file, and I have here, for example, I make a presentation from these documents are living on my SharePoint or on my OneDrive. This does works with local documents in my computer. These documents must be resides on OneDrive or must resides on SharePoint. This is an corporate OneDrive. So, for example, I open up this Word document, create a presentation from Insights from Healthcare Cybersecurity Report. It's in a Word document, and right now, Microsoft Copilot starts automatically to create a PowerPoint presentation from this Word document. As you can see, it's very quick. Conclusion, adding speaker notes, and then finalizing the document. And I have here the document relating about the information of cybersecurity and healthcare. This is a starting point, of course. I have designer here. So with designer, I can add more information. I can change the situation, or change the slide format. I can add here and with designer, or again with Copilot, and I can add more contents. I can add all this kind of information, and you can see here. I can open up and I can add images. Imagine that in this kind of operation of tooling, in only 5 minutes, in only a couple of minutes, I have a starting point for my presentation. Again, I can select this kind of documents. I can, when I select these documents, for example, I select all this kind of information, and again with Copilot, I can refine this information. When I have working with this kind of documents, I can always refine or editing the kind of information that Microsoft Copilot suggests to me. And take a look at the below of the presentation, and at the bottom we have automatically narrative speak noted. So if I need to present this presentation, I have Microsoft Copilot for me are preparing this kind of information. This is regarding about Microsoft PowerPoint. Again, it's very, very amazing, very spectacular, but this kind of integration we have, of course, within Word too. De facto, we have this kind of information with all of this kind of information. So, for example, rule for the use mobile devices. I open up this document. I have this document. I, for example, select the introduction point of this document. Appears the Microsoft Copilot icon here, and I can auto rewrite, for example. Automatically, he makes that in rewrites, and I can replace, I can insert below, or I can change, for example, the shorten the last paragraph, more formal. I can change the tone of the text. In that case, for example, I see, okay, replace, and automatically replace the text. I have always this icon that I can write a prompt, visualize a table. If I want, for example, I can use, imagine, for example, I can select general rules, or I can go up here to Copilot, and again, I can understand, summarize the doc in 5 key points. Of course, I can make a translation procedure in order to translate to another language. No problem at all. It's Word as a term. So all of these kind of features are at disposal within Microsoft Copilot. So I have all this kind of information. I have the summary of this document, and I can, of course, copy the document. I have inside all the reference that Microsoft Copilot using to make this summary. In the same case, for example, like with Microsoft PowerPoint, I can again file new blank document, and I can create a document from scratch talking about whatever. Automatically, here I have a several information. So draft document based on file. Again, I have several information here. So for example, I make a documentation based on the presentation on this webinar. Click, and again, I have this integration from Microsoft Word to another application from the Suite Office. Imagine, take a look at this quick response from the LLM. In that case, I have a Microsoft Word working from scratch from my presentation, make it tone-friendly, for example, or more professional. I can change the tone. I can do not whatever, but a lot of things fighting this kind of information. So I can regenerate or no, keep it. So I create a document of in that case, for Microsoft Productivity, I can add an image, or add an image in that here, for example, and in that case, for example, I can add a relate image. In that case, generate or creating a draft. And in that case, you need this kind of information. So I discard, I open up here Copilot. Here I add, it's important, generate an image of AI, for example. And nowadays, again, this is multimodal model, and I have here information, but I don't know, this is very AI, but as you can see, it's powered by DALL-E 3. I can select one of these, Let me check. Right now, for example, this one, insert. Right now, I insert the picture generated from Microsoft Copilot. I can adjust, no problem at all, and I can use Designer again in order to see how this is the best fit or the best way to my presentation. So as you can see, it's very easy in order to change the format, to change the text, and to change the structure of a document Word from scratch using a new document or using a document that exists. We have a lot of new features in Copilot. If we can click again on Copilot side panel, we can see here in the app we have all the information of your prompts. We can view more prompts in order to work with Microsoft Word. We have several tasks: ask, understand, edit, and analyze. And here we can see a lot of prompts are on disposal to work with Microsoft Word. If I click see all prompts, I go into a URL from Microsoft where I can choose the tool that I'm working with, for example, Outlook, Teams, and whatever. I can select the app here, and with this kind of application, I can use with no problem at all directly the chat, the prompts, and I can save these prompts to my profile, and then I can use these templates or prompts within my tool. This is evolutioning constantly. Again, Microsoft adding more and more prompts. This is a prompt engineering for me. In that case, for example, I can use this one. I'm Sabin, and I can write an email to my coworkers explaining the reasons for a downtime of a line. For example, this is an idea of this kind of product, and I can use this explanation email in the case of Outlook, and I can use this template of an app generated by Microsoft prompt. As you can see, again, the integration with Microsoft Word works perfectly, and then I can use directly in one new create document, in an existing document, I can add the powerful of Microsoft Copilot, and works with Designer in conjunction in order to work with my presentation. Depends what is the focus, what is the goals, and what I want exactly on the presentation. Let me close these applications. Let me close this one. Let me close this one. Okay. And move right now to another interesting application within it's Microsoft Excel. I think that you know by far this application, and we have the same example. I open up Excel. Sorry, I open up Workbook. Only two considerations we're working with Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Copilot. The information must be formatted as a table. You need to work with your workbook, and then you must to work as a table format. Is the one of two requirements or prerequisites that you need to work with Copilot with Microsoft Excel. Other one is that you need to work only with documents that lives within OneDrive or SharePoint. If you have documents in your local computer, CD or whatever, or USB, don't work. You need first move these kind of documents to your SharePoint, your OneDrive, or whatever. In that case, for example, I open up this document regarding about sentiment analysis from social network. I have this document, and for example, in that case, I open up Copilot. And first of all, take a look that Copilot can fix data inconsistencies and formatting. So if I click show suggestions, I can see a lot of information regarding about suggestions. As you can see here, we have a lot of suggestions. For example, replace, I have information on a category that is confident or confidence, replace letter with confident or confidence in order to avoid information. I can here apply, and I can apply directly variations or fix of the information. So Microsoft Copilot from Microsoft Excel is an excellent tool to help me with dealing with data. As you know, that you work with very big Excels, many of the problems that we can face, or many of the challenge that we can face with Excel when working with data science of another kind of goals is to deal with data, because we have duplicates, we have missing on data, we have different kinds of structures. So Microsoft Copilot 2 can help me to analyze this kind of information. If all of this kind of information is okay, I can, for example, understand the information regarding about the chart, about tables, etc. And I can use Microsoft Copilot from Excel in order to, for example, insert a graphic, make a new formula, recreate a formula, whatever. I have a power in my hands to work with this kind of Excel. I change a lot of things because we have a very big Excel document, so it's consuming time. So I say, for example, stop generating. But if I, for example, analyze this kind of information, and I go here, for example, I have all this kind of information, and for example, I have likes and country. And I, for example, I can, as a question, short country for number of clicks, for example. I run the click, and I had to make a short operation, short format. Right now, it's understanding my data, analyzing my data, analyzing the range. The first time, this is well, very more consuming time because he has to try to analyze more in depth about the nature and the structure of my information. But once it's very, very quick. In that case, I have a very big Excel, but as you can see, the information, they are looking at all the information in the Excel and then propose me a formula. If not, I can select maybe one other more simple Excel. Let me check because this is a very big Excel. Let me stop generating. File, open, for example, financial sample, this one. This is more, let me check here. Okay. Again, Copilot. And automatically, he can give me information regarding about show data insights, for example. Right now, he's analyzing this kind of information. It's about a sales Excel, about data, about countries, about products, about growth, about profit, discounts, etc. And automatically in that first point, he's trying to analyze all the range of information and give me information related to this Excel. He's generating all the information. I think that this Excel is not quite big. Well, not at all. Or maybe yes. But okay, it's working now. We expect a couple of minutes. So the idea here with Microsoft Copilot is always the same, is to add this side panel, and not only the side panel that you can see here in this webinar, so you can interact directly with the information or directly with the data into well, in that case, into the Excel. Well, Copilot is doing this operation. Let me move because I can open up a Microsoft Excel on my desktop. In this case, is in Spanish, but it's the same functionality. I can here, for example, open up finance sample, and many times is faster than the version of the cloud version of the Excel. In that case, let me again, in order to, for example, summary, or in that case, for example, yes, short benefit rate column, for example. Column. And then play. First of all, they need to understand the information, but we'll see that if we work locally with the information with my Microsoft Excel, for example, in the desktop edition, is quicker than in the cloud edition. We can move again to the cloud edition, and well, here's Steam. Okay, I see. Right now they have problems. So it's conditional formatting. Okay. This, for example, Microsoft Copilot give me conditional formatting suggestions. Highlight cells in margen de beneficio when mundane cells in with October. I may click, and then I will see, we can see the column, margen de beneficio, will locate here. All right, I have the formula, and then can apply. So automatically detects the information on the column, and you can see format, change the color in the GANs with a formatting formula in order to mark directly the information on the table. Again, we have a lot of features with Microsoft Copilot, with Excel in that case, with previous or blank Excel spreadsheets, and with information from another kind of information that can I use to work with Microsoft Excel. If I, for example, make file, new Blackboard book in that case, in order to create a new one from scratch. I open up Copilot. In that case, I can apply this kind of information, but I cannot create a new table. I cannot create a new workbook from scratch. This is the main difference between this Excel or this application, between Excel application against the rest of the Office application. But it's the main difference. But well, from that point was perfect with this kind of feature because we have a lot of power within Microsoft Copilot. Okay, let's move to another very, very interesting application of Microsoft Copilot is with the mail. With email in Outlook, we need to work with the new version of Outlook. I have here Microsoft Copilot, again, installed. I can organize my inbox. I can help me write an email, for example, new email. And I have draft with Copilot. And this is an email, for example, so hi, a draft by Copilot regarding draft regarding my participation on next MBA at ZIGURAT. For example, I make a kind of prompt engineering, generate, and automatically Microsoft Copilot within Microsoft Outlook give me automatically, in that case, as you can see, I can keep it, I can change, in that case, make it longer, make it shorter, make it some more formal, more detailed, more causal, make it a poem, whatever, make it longer, and then regenerate this draft. So I have two versions, one version and two versions, make it longer, keep it, and I have here the information in a perfect English in order to participate in a upcoming MBA program at ZIGURAT. I can send the email in that case, and this is a very important start point in order to open up a new topic with this case with Outlook. But other important thing, for example, I can analyze. I have several kind of information. For example, I open up here this mail, and I can make a summary by Copilot. I can scan in the mail, and then automatically Microsoft Copilot makes me a summary of this mail. This is a very simple mail, but for example, I have on my own personal, in the case, in this case, for example, I have more information from mail that we have chain in mails, and this kind of tool can help me in order to work with this chain of mails, and Microsoft Copilot can help me in order to try information regarding about, let me check if I have, for example, this one from OpenAI. Well, this is very short too. And for example, let me check. I have here half an hour. Well, this is the same. Again, I can summarize directly by Copilot, and I can reply directly to this mail. And I have automatically Microsoft Copilot give me here several choices in order to reply within write any kind of information regarding about this information. I can ask, I can directly query the information or query directly the attach within Microsoft Outlook. And again, here I have the information regarding about prompts, understand, catch up on already emails, what should be enrolled from email that week. So I can here program it. I can make several tasks programmatically in order to indicate what is the behavior from my point of view with Outlook. In that case, summarize emails from last week, I can create, I can ask for whatever. So I have a lot of information integrated in that case within Outlook. And finally, very, very related with this is in that case, the Microsoft Copilot chat. Microsoft Copilot chat is again, it's a chat GPT with the information of within my company. I have the web edition. This is free for you. If you have Edge, you can use this kind of information. But if you have Microsoft Copilot subscription, you can work with your data from within. So for example, here I can add files. I have all people of my organization. I can see information regarding about, for example, Juan Carlos Gutierrez, and I can ask questions about Juan Carlos Gutierrez. And automatically Microsoft Copilot starts to make a recap and summarize mails, meetings, files regarding about Juan Carlos Gutierrez. And here give me all the information regarding about me, for example, in that case. And automatically, can you provide more details about ZIGURAT Evento EMS Copilot meeting? For example, this one, I click and I make a run, and I'm working with my internal data. This is a ChatGPT with internal data, and I can hear all the information regarding about meeting, or for example, I can see about past meetings. For example, yesterday I ran a meeting about talking about Google Gemini and Google Workspace, the main competitor from Microsoft. So in that case, I see right now in this meeting, let me check because it's time to work in the application, but I can see the recap of the meeting. If, for example, I move right now here, this is talking in Spanish, so I can give you this information in Spanish, so I can see in English. I can tell the model in English, please. And then I regenerate that, right? And I have translated what about the meeting for yesterday. So I can see the information, I can copy up the information and whatever. More important too, when I work with here, I can add people, fields, I can upload fields. For example, you go to fields and I go, for example, let me check this one again. Health category security. About this document, I can make a click and I can make a summary of this information. Automatically, Microsoft Copilot Chat, like ChatGPT, give me this kind of information. Of course, right now, for example, it's not rolled up within Microsoft Copilot. The idea that Microsoft Copilot understands information, for example, from a picture or from a graph, like, for example, ChatGPT. Let me switch over rapidly to ChatGPT, and we'll see what I'm talking about. I have this, you are seeing right now, Microsoft ChatGPT Professional Edition, Team Edition. This is a private edition of ChatGPT Plus. Let me upload a document. In that case, for example, live sessions. For example, let me check rapidly. Live sessions. No, I have here. ZIGURAT. Okay, and I, for example, have a image of one picture from Caravaggio. So I I run with ChatGPT, tell me more about this image. This is multimodality. This is a very famous picture art from Raffaello Caravaggio. And again, automatically, ChatGPT understands the image, use his internal model, and give me more information relating only from an image. Imagine the powerful of this kind of tools. Works on ChatGPT, works, for example, on Google Gemini, but for the moment don't work on the same way on Microsoft Copilot. Not only this one, I can, for example, open up an image from a graphic. For example, I have here this one. Let me, for example, this one. This is a graphic and show the main points. Show the main points of this image. I open up an image of use of social media platforms by IG groups in the US, and then automatically, right now, as you can see in your screen, my screen, in that case, we can see all the information relating about this information and give me a structure of the information. This is thanks for Microsoft, in their case, ChatGPT 4.0. I'm using 4.0, I am using reasoning, using 4.0. This is multimodal. And in that case, I can see all of this kind of information and key insights only from a simple image. Again, this functionality is not rolled up yet into Microsoft Copilot, but I think that at the end of this year, we can see too all the powerful of multimodality within Microsoft Copilot. Okay, that's all. It was for you. I stop sharing my screen. We can move to question answers and whatever.
Great, Juan Carlos. Thank you very much. That was very interesting. I already could see many things that I can apply actually myself. So just a couple of questions from the audience. So are people saying, can you use Copilot on another email provider other than Outlook?
Sorry, this is in the chat.
Can you use the Copilot in other email provider other than Outlook?
No,
No.
only works with Microsoft Outlook. If you want use with another application, for example, if you have Gmail, you can use Gemini, that is from Google, that is very similar to Microsoft Copilot. And if you don't use not Microsoft or not Outlook or not Gmail, you can use, for example, Dropbox Dash. Dropbox Dash is another very powerful tool from AI that you can connect to three parties or several data sources of information. But in the case you have from the best players, from the main players, Microsoft Copilot from Microsoft Suite and Google Gemini from Google Suite.
Okay, Nicole is asking, how can I set up Copilot to classify my emails, for example?
It's automatically, basically the goal within Microsoft Copilot is that he's integrated with Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph is the main API from Microsoft in order to deal and manage all the information within your Microsoft 365 organization tenant. So automatically, you don't have a mechanism in order to fine tuning how Microsoft Copilot manage this kind of information. It's automatically, but always working on the same premise on security, on privacy information. For example, if you, in your normal way of doing things, you don't have access to any files, any folder, for example, from human resources or financials or whatever, using Copilot don't grant you access to. So the previous privacy policies and rights that you have inferred within your organization is mandatory over any other action from Microsoft Copilot, but it's automatically deployed by Microsoft Copilot. You for the moment, by the way, in this month, you don't have the choice to change it.
But I mean, she's referring to classifying emails. So you can prompt Copilot
Yeah, of course,
to classify your...
of course, in your own, of course. Oh, sorry, a level of prompt engineering, whatever you need, you can categorize whatever you need in order about your prompt engineering. I understood about internally how it runs. Yeah.
So basically, you prompt the Copilot to classify my mails according to. So you give the prompt, and it organizes your email.
That's right. My idea or my advice in that case is that you can always use the prompt library templates built in by Microsoft. Then you can add as a favorite within your profile, and then automatically appears within your session. So Microsoft has a lot of templates that works very well with all these kind of applications. So you can subscribe to this prompt, and then you can use with any kind of problem within.
Okay, and Gustavo is asking if Microsoft Teams, does it have Copilot by default?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No. Microsoft Copilot is in a subscription again. We don't see Microsoft Teams. It's amazing too because, for example, can give you the transcription feature, or in order to transcribe and summarize all the meeting and then send you an email. But in that case, no. It's a part of subscription. You must to purchase, and your administrator must to assign to you in a nominal way in order to use. And Microsoft Teams has another add-on that is called Microsoft Teams Premium. That is nothing to do with Microsoft Copilot. That, for example, give you a lot of more features. For example, the automatic translation. Imagine, for example, that you're working in a multinational company and you work with people that speak in Japanese, German, Spanish, etc. Automatically, with this feature, automatically Teams translate for you in your native language. So if you, for example, speak Spanish, you see all the contents in Spanish, but if another colleague is speaking Japanese, he'll see all the contents in Japanese. But you need this special feature that is called Team Premium.
Okay, and then Nashwa is asking, how can he get Copilot on the Microsoft browser?
Well, and the Microsoft browser, and you have Copilot, and let me show rapidly. Let me show rapidly with my screen. You open up Edge. I have here Edge, and you have at this side, this is Copilot. And if you don't have any kind of subscription, you have this version. This version is free Copilot for you. Then do you have access to GPT-4o? If you have Microsoft Copilot subscription, you have both web and work. So you can interact with your data, with your colleagues, and with your files. But again, you can use Edge, and in the side panel, you can see here Microsoft Copilot. And then you can open up, and then you have here the Microsoft Copilot free within web, in that case, within Edge.
And then Juan Carlos, he's also asking, how could you use this tool to create a content strategy? So that would be maybe Word, maybe prompting in.
You can use it with Word, with Microsoft Copilot Chat, Microsoft PowerPoint.
You can
The idea
combine
for
all these tools
that
actually.
right, and the idea, for example, is working like Microsoft ChatGPT. For example, you can go to Ogilvy, the famous company related with marketing. You can download a brochure or a PDF, and then you can tell Microsoft Copilot, hey, create a strategic marketing plan based on this file from Ogilvy. So automatically extract the structure, the goal, the objectives, etc. within the document with your ideas. I need a marketing plan. Of course, prompt engineering is very sophisticated, but you need to work in a more advanced mode. It's not, for example, make a marketing plan. Not enough. You need to give this kind of AI tools like ChatGPT, like Microsoft Copilot, Gemini, whatever. You need to provide context. You need to provide arguments. You need to provide goals. And if better, if you can provide them examples. In that case, for example, again, you can download an article from Steve Jobs, an article from Gartner, an article from whatever, and then you can use as a starting point, as a base for your marketing plan, for your strategic plan. Imagine, for example, from a SWOT analysis or from a pest analysis, if you can give them samples, automatically your prompt engineering is richer than if you, for example, tell them, hey, I need a marketing strategic plan. This is not enough because it's very standard, it's very generic. And so the question is with Microsoft Copilot, you have always the choice to create from an original document that you can use as a template. And then, of course, you can find turning this document and fitting according to your needs.
Great. And then just to finish, I have a message from Paul Dowling. He's an alumni from 2023 of the MBA, and he's just saying hi, Juan Carlos, and that he's saying
Hi, how are
it's
you?
wild how much Gen AI has changed over the last. I mean,
it's incredible, and
yeah.
and it's incredible. And take a look, for example, the new tool from Google called Notebook LM. That is amazing tool because I told before with Josefina that you can offer them this kind of tool, a lot of arguments, and can give you a 360-degree analysis about your site, about your company, about a PDF. It's a public tool. It's an experimental tool from Google, Notebook LM, but it's an experimental. I don't advise you or I warn you don't to interact with personal information or from private information or confidential. But for example, it's an excellent tool. If imagine, for example, you want to launch a marketing plan campaign, so you can upload this document and then, hey, I need to prepare a marketing plan, mimic this one, for example. Imagine. I think that right now ChatGPT is announcing to the end of the year ChatGPT application from Windows. Actually, we have installed a native application like Microsoft Word, Outlook, whatever, from ChatGPT with Vision Module. With Vision Module, what means that you can show to ChatGPT all the contents of UPC, and automatically ChatGPT can interact with you naturally and on a normal format, on a normal format. You see, for example, that this kind of applications runs to a mobile, and right now you can see with Vision Module can take a vision of you directly and regards about your behavior, your sense, about your feelings. Automatically, you can talk directly with AI. I don't know with the limit. I think that we need rules. I think that we need norms in order to how to define how we need to interact with this kind of AI. But many questions, so many times, customers, colleagues, employees, etc., told us, "Hey, Juan Carlos, AI replace me on my work?" No, the answer is not that AI replace you. The answer is that people that has knowledge on AI must replace you or can replace you. So it's very important, like for example, this initiative from ZIGURAT, in order to engage you in to use this kind of tools, because you need to be prepared in order to face the challenges that we have right now, not in the future, right now with AI.
Exactly. Yes, as I said, I left there in the chat the link for you to see the MBA. As I said, we train you with all these tools. It's a comprehensive program that allows you to do a transformation in all areas of your business. So thank you, Juan Carlos. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us today. So everyone's going to receive a recording of this event. And if you have any doubts, just write to ZIGURAT or look to Juan Carlos on LinkedIn and you can stay in touch. So thanks, Juan Carlos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you very
everyone,
much.
and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks.